All right, welcome to another Thursday training. We do these every Thursday with the hopes that we can provide a little bit of information, a little bit of training, and a little bit of encouragement as to what are some things that you can do in your business to improve, whether that means more leads into your pipeline, more business coming your way. At the end of the day, if you're not prospecting daily, you're not going to close deals or as many deals as you want, depending on what your goals for the end of the year is. Today's presentation is about follow-up, and we've done these presentations before. We've talked about follow-up before, and if you talk to any agent who is consistently closing deals, they'll tell you that follow-up is key in order to get more business. There is low-hanging fruit that you can get. There are ads that you can run to speed up the process of bringing in traffic into your pipeline and hopefully getting that person that's ready to close within the next 30 to 60 days. However, most of your business is going to come from follow-up, long-term nurturing, long-term processes put in place that are going to keep you top of mind with every person that has ever talked to you about real estate, every person that has come into contact with your stuff. And we're going to talk about different ways you can follow up that are going to get you to your goal, which is eventually having that conversation, setting that appointment, whether it's a buyer or a seller, and most importantly, now more so that you can showcase your value and therefore get that appointment and get that transaction moving, right? So one of the things that we talk about in follow-up is, and it's very, very key to ensuring that your follow-up is on point, you have to make sure that you're doing this very consistently. You have to be very regularly following up with your leads, right? A lead is someone who may have entered your database because you posted something on social media. Maybe you ran a few Facebook ads, a few Instagram ads. Maybe you run some PPC. Maybe you are pushing yourself organically on your social media platforms. So a lead is someone who just raised their hand. A lead is not someone who is ready to transact. A lead is not someone who's qualified. All right. Sometimes we have to change that mindset that in order to close one deal, you need to figure out in your market and you need to figure out in your specific situation how many leads you need to talk to every single day in order to close that one deal every single month or every other month. You need to do the math and you need to double down on your efforts depending on what that number looks like and depending on how big of a goal you have for the end of the year. So one of the things that you have to think about when it comes down to follow up, there is different ways you can follow up with your database. Okay. And you can have leads from your sphere, digital sphere. You can have leads from your sphere of influence, friends, family, friends of friends. Maybe you have another job, right? I saw a post early morning today about how can you be successful as a real estate agent by and having a second job. And sometimes that second job is what feeds into your business. I know two examples of agents that are full-time 9 to 5 jobs and are killing it. And the reason is because their job feeds into their business as leads. Not every job is going to do that for you, of course, but it should give you the opportunity to talk about real estate, right? Firefighter, very great position to be in. As friends, you know, are and family are going to go with you, and it's a good opportunity to talk to people about real estate. Another one, police officer, right? Those two examples that I know of in person, they are getting a ton of business because the sphere of influence is coming directly from their jobs, and they have a really tight community, and it's feeding into their business. Another example could be you work at a retail store, right? You talk to friends. At the end of the day, you just have to talk to people, right? You have to talk to people and you have to put them in your systems. You have to follow up with them regularly and make sure that they know that you are in real estate. Now, different ways you can follow up with people, of course, a text message, email. Text message could be as simple as, hi, how are you doing? Just saying hi. How is business? How is family? When can we catch up over coffee? Right? Simple text messages that you can send depending, and we're going to go over that in a second, depending on where that lead is at, you can have your follow-up set up in a way that how frequent you're going to follow up with leads. Emails. Emails are very important. Email open rate is way lower than a text message open rate. However, it still puts you top of mind with your leads because even if they don't open up the email and read it, they still see your name pop up, right? The other thing too is what type of emails are you sending your database? Is it just a simple, hi, how are you doing? Are you looking to sell? Are you looking to buy? When do you think you're ready? It should not be all about real estate, right? One way that agents are getting email open rates up and getting a lot of results from email is coming up with the weekly, bi-weekly newsletter. The newsletter could be about what's going on in the market. It could be about what's going on in your area, right? Are you targeting families with kids? Maybe put in your newsletter things to do with the kids, right? Maybe you're a parent, so you know what's going on. Maybe you're into exercising. Put things or resources in that newsletter about that, about things that you like, so that you can relate to people in your database. So those are the type of emails you got to start thinking about, right? It literally should only take you about an hour or two to come up with all that content, maybe a Sunday night, to schedule that newsletter for the next day. There's a lot of different templates out there. There's a lot of different email platforms, MailChimp, Constant Contact, and even different CRMs that allow you to customize through HTML. It allows you to customize your emails so that you can create newsletters about your business. Of course, if you have an IDX website, additional emails that go out are for property alerts, new listings coming up on the market. However, that should not be the only thing you're sending out to your database. That should only be a portion of your email follow-up. And a bigger uh, platform that you can use for follow-up, of course, is picking up the phone and making those calls, right? The other option too is your social media. Not a lot of agents are putting enough time into building their social media platforms. And what I mean by building that out, I mean posting regularly on Facebook, posting regularly on Instagram. The people that you know are going to start to follow you. That it's going to take time for the social media portion of your business to build up, but those are things that you have to start doing now. I've seen success in social media within 3 to 6 months, and by success I mean people reaching out, conversations getting started, appointments being booked. And it takes time to build it. The one thing you have to do is be consistent and be you. Show yourself, showcase yourself in your social media platforms. And that is another great way you can start following up with your leads. Every person you meet, add them to your social media. That's a window to who you are, what your business looks like, what your business is, and what you can do for your clients, information that you can provide them about the market, information you can provide them about the local area, and most importantly, information about you. Why should they work with you specifically? So great ways for follow-up. Remember, your social media, your phone, your text, your emails, they all have to be on point, and you have to have multiple ways of touch points with your database to make sure you stay top of mind. Text messages, right? We talked about text messages. Make sure you're either using your phone for texting if you have a small database. It's gonna be tough to keep track. I'm guilty of missing out on follow-ups when I just keep track of people on paper on a little spreadsheet or maybe on my notebook. The best thing you can do is get a system. There are a lot of inexpensive systems out there already, okay, where you can automate a lot of this texting. You can always use your own phone in together with the platform, but at the end of the day, you need reminders. Who are you going to text? There are systems out there that will remind you, hey, you got to text this person, right? And all you have to do is maybe save a lot of your text messages and just send them if you want to start saving up on texting from platforms if you already have your phone. Of course, the more leads you put into your database, the harder this is going to be. If you're paying for Facebook ads, Instagram ads, or if you're really active on social media, you're going to start to realize that you need to invest in your system, right? And we've talked about this before. Investing in your business is the best thing you can do in order to grow your business. Things to keep in mind when you're talking about a system, right? And we always talk about systems. We always talk about tools, tech. You can rely on your own manual text messages. You can rely on your own manual emails, but the best thing you can do is have a system that's going to allow you to hit almost every single point here, right? Make sure that you're prompt and regular. We are humans. We are not prompt and regular. Most of us are not, which is why we have to rely on tools and systems. CRMs nowadays allow you to do all this automatically, right? Your text and emails have to be engaging. Do you need to know what that means? Do you need to know what messages to send out? Do you need to know what emails to send out? Well, honestly, ChatGPT is available nowadays, AI, right? Of course, it's not perfect, but that's where you come in. You learn about how to use those tools, and you can create months and months and months of text messages and emails for follow-up. Like one of the things that we do, for example, with our CRM that we provide agents, all the follow-up scripts, all the follow-up workflows, all the text, all the email, all the templates already there for agents just to use, right? And just like this tool that we provide agents, you can go out there and find them, right? If you already have systems like KV Core, Lofty used to be Chime, they already come preloaded with a lot of text and email templates. All you have to do is go in there and make them your own. There's a lot of different platforms that will offer you free templates as well. If you start searching on Google for real estate marketing, if you start searching on Facebook for real estate marketing, a lot of different ads are going to pop up because every business wants to sell something to another business, right? And we as real estate agents are target to real estate marketing agencies. A lot of real estate marketing agencies offer a lot of free value, a lot of free content. I just pulled a list of the top 5 text messages that you can send to your database in order to reignite an old database, right? If you haven't followed up with the database in the last 6 to 12 months, the 5 text messages are going to turn into responses, right? And I got that from a marketing agency. And if you look through the content, it's good. So they're offering you for, free lead magnets. And I hope you kind of take, this as an idea to offer the same to your leads, right? This is how marketing works. They offer you a hook, you get caught on that hook, and then you get value. Of course, they in exchange for that, they probably want your phone number, your email. So it's worth the chat and see what they offer, right? But again, you do this, you're going to get a lot of content. You're going to get a lot of content. Actually, we have a system right now. We have a PDF that we can give away if you comment follow up, where we give you scripts to follow up. We give you, templates for email and text messages that we can send you, and we'll make that accessible to you. I may. So we'll make that accessible to you. You already have a lot of that stuff. So if you're not, using the tools that are available to you, you're basically missing out. You have to be resourceful, right? We talked about how can you be resourceful with email. We talked about newsletters. Finding out content about your local area is a great way to be the resource to people, right? One of the things that I always say is you're probably subscribed to places like eBay, Amazon, and we get a ton of emails from those companies. How many times have we hit the unsubscribe button? Probably not, because we know that if we ever open one of those emails, we're probably going to find an offer that we are interested in, and we want to take part of that, right? So if you're constantly emailing your database value, whether that's market data, which probably should be, a minimal, or you're sending out things like top hikes in the neighborhood, top 5 places to go for a hike, top 5 places to take your kids on a local hike if you're into hiking, possible events for the month. I know agents that do a newsletter once a month, so they have all of the events for the entire month, right? One single email, and at the end or at the very beginning, they introduce themselves as, I'm a local real estate agent, right? Most people opening that email are going for the value that they're finding in that email, not so much the real estate portion of it. However, they get reminded that you're there. If you couple this with other means of follow-up, you'll definitely be able to stay top of mind when they're ready to take the next step. We were talking about yesterday with another group, which everybody is invited to every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. go to join.realclosers.com to get the link for that meeting. And we talked about different ways that you can stay top of mind. One of the agents that's killing it right now, making, having a lot of business. One of the things that he's doing, getting into social media, he wants to showcase his dog because that's what he likes to do. He likes to go on walks with his dog and taking them to a dog park. So he's gonna use that as a way to expand his sphere. So if you're gonna use that as a way to create a newsletter to target that community, dog parks around the area, right? You have to figure out ways to implement in order to attract more traffic through your pipeline, because traffic eventually means conversations. Conversations lead to appointments, and therefore appointments lead into clients, right? When you talk to someone, if you have access to your MLS will have access to custom searches, right? Set those up as well, right? That's another way you can start, adding another touch point with your database. Send them custom searches of the homes that they want. Of course, if you have access to smarter CRMs with IDX enabled searches, the IDX will take care of the searches, the custom searches, right? The more they search a specific property, the IDX, the more they send information about that one property, then you get alerted. And of course, you're able to pick up the phone, make a conversation about specific property, and it allows you to really continue that conversation that you had. You know who is active looking at home. So that's another thing that you have to think about when you're implementing systems, right? Some of these could be expensive, so it really depends on how you get access to these tools, but you need systems, right? Systems that are going to allow you to speed up the process, systems that are going to allow you to be consistent. Follow-up should be through text messages, through calls. You got to make sure to time block as well, because again, picking up the phone and making an actual call is much better than sending a text message and an email, right? The text message and email are touch points that are going to keep you top of mind, but the actual conversion is going to happen in conversations, right? Also, who do you keep uh who do you keep in your hot list versus who do you keep in your nurture list, right? How do you segregate your database in a way that you are keeping track of the top 50 people that could transact in the next 30, 90 days? Those are the ones you want to really keep track of, right? So we're going to talk about that now. And now one of the things that you have to keep in mind too is that when you're following up with your leads, sometimes that lead may not ever transact with you. However, that lead is someone who has a friend, someone who's got family, someone who represents an opportunity and a door to more referrals. I know for a fact a few agents that have not ever transacted with a lead that they had in their system. However, they keep getting referrals from that same person. Why? Because they stay top of mind. They always provide value. So if they're providing value to me and I have a friend that needs assistance in buying or selling, I'm pretty sure that person can help that friend, right? And I'm being a good friend by passing on the information of the agent who's constantly on my inbox. We're just gonna go through, rule of thumb, how often you have to follow up with your leads, depending on how hot they are. Use this as a guideline. Of course, you have to respect boundaries. You have to be able to read the person you're talking to. Like for example, I have this one buddy of mine who is ready to go, and I don't really follow up with them over text, over email. From time to time, I've sent them a few links. I provided additional information. I see him almost 3 times a week. So I use that opportunity to just have conversations to see how things are going. And I know he's ready to go, so I gotta stay top of mind, right? We have him set up on searches so that he can look at properties as well. But again, so every person is going to be different, right? So you have to take that into account. But if someone is hot, rule of thumb is you have to follow up with them every day, right? And every day doesn't mean you're going to call them every day, right? It means that maybe send them an email on Monday, maybe a text message on Tuesday, maybe call them on Thursday, maybe call them on Friday, maybe another text message or another email on the weekend. So you're following up with different ways to make sure that that person knows that you are available, right? Because the thing is, if you're not following up with those hot leads, Someone else is following up with those hot leads. Okay. If you're not following up, someone else is. There's another agent out there that is going to be following up with your leads. Okay. That's just the reality of things. There are aggressive agents out there. So if you're not, right, if you're looking at why you're not getting as much business as the next agent, most likely that agent is being proactive about following up with those hot leads. And if you feel that, sometimes I talk to agents, are they're like, well, I don't want to bother them, right? I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to be show too, being too aggressive. Trust me, there's no other agent who has no issue doing that, and that agent is getting business. It just depends on very specific situations, but you have to keep in mind that, do you want the business or not, right? And make that uh, your decision of following up and how often and frequent, based on how bad you really want to work with that person. You have to look at it from the perspective of, I am the solution. I am going to be able to get that buyer into the house because I'm really good at negotiating, closing costs. I'm really good at talking to the listing agents. I know my neighborhood. I know I can do this. So I know I can provide the value that this person needs. If it's a seller, I know I can sell that house. I know how to get buyers. I know how to talk to agents. I have a huge database. I'm the one who is the only person who's going to be able to help this seller sell that house. If you start to think about that way, follow up as often as you need to, right? So 7 days for someone who's super hot, someone who is ready to transact, hot, 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 every day, no less than 7 days. Someone who is somewhere to, 60 to 90 days, at least every 2 weeks, right? At least every 2 weeks. Make sure you stay top of mind. Make sure that you're constantly on their database, right? On their inbox, on their email, on their text message, on their call as a missed call, voice messages, ringless voicemails. And of course, someone who is way out there, 90 days plus, 6 months, 12 months out, you still want to follow up because they represent a good crowd that nobody else is bugging. It gives you enough time to build relationships that are going to last. They're not going to transact anytime soon. However, these are people that could potentially send you referrals. These are people that you don't want to miss out on because you decided that the lead was too cold and you didn't want to put enough time into nurturing that lead. I can tell you many, many cases where we've gone into an agent's database where they have leads that they generated either from Facebook or any other platform that they hadn't touched for 12 months. And when we go through calling all those leads, it turns out that a lot of them had already bought a house. So there's a lot of opportunities that you're going to miss if you're not following up with those people that are out 6 to 12 months out. Okay. Very important that you don't miss out on opportunities because of your lack of follow-up. Remember, we started this presentation or training with, most of your business is going to come from your follow-up. So if you only want to transact a few deals a year, then maybe you just want to worry about the now business. If you want your business to last, you need to start thinking about long-term nurture, long-term follow-up. Leads that are, you can consider leads as a funnel, right? Leads sit at the very top of the funnel when they barely thinking about buying. And as they go through that funnel, they're getting closer to making a decision to working with an agent. The deeper in the funnel they are, the hotter they are. Uh, but the problem is the more competition, right? Because if someone is looking to buy, they're going to be reaching out to lenders, they're going to be reaching out to agents. And if you don't have anything signed, that's a free for all, right? Any agent can try to get that client, but that client is hot, they're ready to go. So the deeper in the funnel those leads are, the harder for you to get that person to work with you. So if you start to concentrate a little bit and put systems in place to follow up with the people at the very top of your funnel, and with your help, you're driving them through that funnel until they're ready to go, guess what? They're going to work with you. they're gonna think about you when they're ready to 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 make that step, right? To take that step of, I want to know more about, buying. Can we set up a consultation? I want to talk through the process, right? I have a couple cases that I'm talking to a few people where they are looking at homes with other agents, right? But they haven't signed anything. They have nothing signed. Um, so I'm just trying to be a resource. It's like they have questions. It's interesting that the agent that they're browsing homes with, they're not providing the information, and the the lead, in this case, this person I'm talking to, is not getting the information that he wants from this other agent, and that other agent is not taking time to sit down and really provide information on a consultation. So it's very important that you do that, even with people that are out 6 to 12 months, because these are the people that are going to transact. Not everyone, of course, but a subset are going to, right, are going to do that. So you need to make sure that you're staying top of mind, even with those people that sit at the very, very top of your funnel. Getting everybody at the top of your funnel on your social media as friends, very important. Stay top of mind. One of the things that we haven't talked about, um, is, of course, giving attention depending on where the lead is at. But one of the things that we haven't talked about is ways to stay top of mind, where you can invest a little bit of money on marketing, right? Facebook ads are a great way of staying top of mind. So you have two sets of Facebook ads that you can run. One set to get fresh new leads. A lot of the leads that you get from Facebook, some of you, if you're watching this, you're going to be like, they're trash, they're this or that. I talked about a funnel, right? Facebook, Google leads, they all sit at the very top of that funnel. Okay. One of the great things about Facebook, though, is that you can take your customer list, feed it into Facebook, and then run ads that target those people. So if you start to get a decent database, let's say 50 people in your database, spend $2, $3 a day, $20 a month, if your budget is not where it needs to be, right? The more you spend, the more results you're going to get. That's how this business works, right? You want more leads, then pay for more, right? Start to pay for systems, start to pay for people to help you in your business. You spend 10, 20, 30, $50 a month on retargeting ads. And this is something we can cover in another training if you guys are interested. But you set up your retargeting ads, you load up this list into Facebook and record yourself, do a few videos, and then run those videos as ads within that database. So now you're touching them on organically social media, you're doing paid retargeting, you're doing texting, you're doing emails, you're doing calls. Guess who they're going to call once they're ready to transact? If they see you on Facebook and they see you're running ads, right? Like if it's a seller, oh wow, the person that I interviewed last week, I just saw that person on Facebook. They're running ads. They told me during the listing presentation, that they're very aggressive at finding buyers. I can see that, right? A lot of different things that you can do with systems. Make sure that you invest in your business. Get a CRM, CRM that can help you automate a lot of the process. We have one. If you guys want to check it out, crm.houstir.com does a lot of it for you. But there are a lot of other ones that you can get. Again, your biggest CRM is going to be your phone, right? Your phone, it's going to be a manual process, but it works, right? It works. The thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to you have to be consistent. Put together a good plan to follow up with your database, put together a good system, and put together a time block on your calendar so that you can start following up with people. You may have only 10 people to follow up. Over time, that can grow to 1,000, right? Make sure you're using a system, a tool that can allow you to automate a lot of the process, reminders, appointments, to make sure that you are talking to the people that are going to lead to transactions. It's not easy. If you're in real estate, things are not easy, but if you put in the work and if you're consistent, you're going to start to see those results. And I think that is all for this training today. Follow-up is something that we've mentioned and talked about many, many times. It's important. It's a reminder that you have to do it. If you're not following up with your database, you are missing out on business. Let me repeat that. If you're not following up with your database, you are missing out on business. If you're not working your social media, you're missing out. You don't have to be a rock star, right? A superstar to start promoting yourself on social media. You just have to be you, and you'll start to see the results. Be consistent, start doing things different, and plan things out for the week. Maybe record a video, do a few stories. As an agent, you're previewing homes, you're browsing the market. Let people know you're putting in the work. People want to work with someone who's active. They want to work with someone who is aggressive in this market. A buyer wants to know you're going to be able to put them in a house. A buyer wants to know that you know your stuff, right? You know your market. A seller wants to know exactly the same thing. They want to know how you're going to be able to net them the most money in the least amount of possible with the least hassle, right? So if you can present yourself through your systems to your database that way, you are going to close more business. All right, thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching this on the recording, watching this on the YouTube channel, or watching this on our Facebook group, Real Closers, we do this every week. If you have questions, drop them. We want to know more or less what you need help with, and we can create content. We talked about retargeting today. Maybe that's something you're interested in. Maybe you want to know exactly how to set those up. Those are things that we could do and show you, and maybe show you some of the results we're getting with some of the retargeting stuff that we're doing ourselves. So thank you so much. Peggy, thank you. Thanks, May, for sticking with us. A lot of the resources that we have available for you guys with the scripts, with the training, we'll make that available. We'll send them out to you, and we'll see you again on next Thursday's presentation. All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on the next presentation. All right, bye.